Hey, so I've had a few queries about bike maintenance, so I thought this would be a good place to leave this video so you can refer to it when your bike maintenance comes up. Um, all things, including our bodies, react well to proper maintenance, and by keeping your bike clean, free of sweat, that will be where the longevity comes into. If you can do that, your bike will last forever and a day. These bikes are 15 years old and they run so smooth only because we've cared for them day after day, ride after ride. So I'll go through the steps that you should probably try to do at least once a month, sometimes every 6 weeks. First thing is lift up your handlebars, toggle down, take a clean rag or paper towel and simply take a little bit of whatever residue was left on there. Drop a little bit of your 3-in-1 oil into that rag or paper towel. And then just a light coating, not a lot because that will affect how the handlebars stay inside the toggle. So you just want to keep it nice and lightly covered with the 3-in-1. And you'll do the same to the saddle. Lift it up to its highest. I already wiped this one down, but here's the second little coat of 3-in-1 oil. You're going to probably see a tiny bit of grease. You want to take that and just move it around so it's not compiling anywhere. And then I like to leave them up, let the oil dry. And I'll do the same thing on the saddle. So move the saddle to the back and just clear any of the residue that's built up. And then drop a little bit of oil on your towel, preferably a clean towel, and give it a little bit of oil across the lever here, and then let that dry. So you've got the saddle and the handlebars up and drying. You can do the front too if you don't use a towel and you tend to get a little bit of sweat eroding inside. You can do the handlebars too. Mine are typically covered, so that's good. All right, the flywheel. So this is the biggest thing to preserve the flywheel and the cork or rubber brake pad that you have. So bring the brake pad all the way up so you have lots of space in between. Move that a little closer. So you're gonna know if you need a new brake pad based on the wear. This brake pad is about a year old, and you're gonna know whether it needs to be maintained if it's dry, which actually, this one is drier than usual. So you should have a little bit of oil residue from the cork or rubber brake pad. Mike's bike is kind of dry. So first things first, so for not to making any mess on the floor, you'll remember in the studio, I used to always have these little napkins underneath to catch any extra residue. Then you're gonna take your 3-in-1 oil, and you're just gonna drop a little bit up at the top, and then put the brake pad down so that the oil goes inside and starts to seep inside your brake pad. So right there, you're getting a little bit of pressure on the flywheel. Then you're just gonna move the flywheel forward, pedaling it forward, so that it makes its way all around the flywheel. That's number one. Then you back off so that your flywheel has no resistance on it. Then you take a paper towel, make it skinny at the top, and you want to get in so there's no excess residue or dust and dirt inside. So you'll see when you look straight on at the flywheel whether you have any residue. You're just going to put your paper towel inside the little center part of your flywheel and run it all the way around full circle so that you grab all of this excess oil that's built up inside the center part. My spike needs a little work here. Good. So now you have a nice center piece that is clean. Then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to add in your resistance so that you have a nice tight brake pad to your wheel. And you're going to start to move the flywheel backwards. And you're going to drop just little bits. You're going to know if you put too much on when you take this out and it's completely soaked. You don't want that. So every little bit, you're going to zigzag your 3-in-1 oil across your flywheel and allow it to go all the way through your brake pad that's been suppressed. So you're going to zigzag kind of intermittently. You don't want too much. You don't want it to be dripping too much. Drip, drip, drip. Cross, zigzag all the way around. Then you're going to take your pedal and you're going to run it through. I would say, that was a bit too much resistance. I would say running it through for about a minute so that it gets the flywheel warm and the brake pad warm as well. That's going to help absorb the excess 3-in-1. Then the last thing you want to do on the flywheel is let up your resistance. Slide just the tip of your 3-in-1 underneath. Do the entire length of your brake pad. And then quickly suppress the brake pad to the wheel so that the soaking process happens. So yeah, that's good. So now over the next day, the brake pad will absorb the excess oil. Any residue that comes off of the wheel will then catch inside your catch basin right underneath your wheel. Okay, so that's the brake pad, the handlebars and the saddle. The next thing is you just want to make sure that you're taking up all of the extra dust bunnies and anything that's accumulated, because that will eventually go into your flywheel and start to erode your flywheel. So anywhere you can take up any dust in between wipe downs, you're going to see some hair, gets kind of nasty. You just want to take up all the dust and hair and dirt around your flywheel. Don't forget to do underneath. Don't forget to do the underside. Yuck. Mike, dirty bike. So that's the flywheel. So then as far as tightening things, basically the key is the pedal and the crank arm. So I just get the wrench. You want to make sure that your pedals are nice and tight. So just do a quick little test to make sure that they're tight. And then you're going to get your, I'm not sure what this thing's called, and you're going to place it inside your, let me come a little bit closer so you can see it. So you want to come right inside and you want to make sure that this bolt is flush against your flywheel. So if you have it coming out, it means that your crank arm is loose. Always make sure that this is tight. Normally over time it will loosen, and usually every couple of months you'll notice that, oh yeah, it needs a little bit of cranking. Super important. Make sure that there's no dust and hair inside your pedal that attaches to the fly arm, which I actually see. Let me get that out. So you just want to pull out any hair that's wrapped itself around, any fluff. That's going to break down where it attaches to your crank arm. There we go. And that's it for pedal and crank arm. Making sure that the bolts on your resistance knob are tight. Don't over tighten them. I did that once and then it cracks this plastic piece, which is a pain. So make sure that's tight. If you want to take off your handles, your levers, you can take them off and clean them. Same thing, just take the dust and dirt out, drop a little bit of your 3-in-1 inside, just a little bit, and then place it back in. Oh, on the outside too, sometimes dirt accumulates. You just want to clean the outside of that. and tighten that back up. You can do that to all the levers, all 4 of them, front and back. There we go. And Mike's bike is all ready to ride. So if you have any questions though, don't forget to send me a note, but this should give you a good basics to get your bike organized once a month or every 6 weeks. Okay, cheers.